Sixth graders, welcome to the screencast from Mr. Harry, inviting you to participate in Gmail Basics. So by the end of this lesson, we are going to learn how to sign into our accounts that we've been given to use. We'll talk more about this when I get back. But we're also going to learn how to set up a signature, upload a profile picture, and how to compose a basic message. So at any point during the screencast, feel free to click pause, and then you can go back to another tab in your browser so that you can kind of keep up with the lesson. So it's kind of a listen, watch, and then do. Listen, watch, do as the screencast goes on. So anyhow, I'm going to take you through it. First thing you have to do is give yourself a new browser tab. If you're watching the screencast, you're already seeing it in one tab, so this next tab could be used to set up your Gmail account. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is at the top where we have our address bar, we're going to type in www.google.com. Notice we don't have anything after the .com. Okay, if there is anything, take that part out and get rid of it so that you can go to a screen that looks just like mine. And then, like I said, if you have to pause, then please do this and then come back and hit play when you're ready. Anyhow, now what you do is you click up here where it says sign in. And you're going to sign into your account, your Gmail account, exactly like you'd sign into a Chromebook. And so if I were a student, okay, I would have 21, Harrje. Now you can put what you have for yours at stu.kingsford.org. That's the first part, okay? Now mine is a little different because I made up a student account for me, so I'm just going to take this out of here. You can substitute what you have to use instead. Your passwords are like they are for the Chromebooks. They're KMS followed by your lunch number. So whatever you've used for the Chromebooks, which I think that's what it is, that's what you'll have to use now. Mine is a little different, so if I typed it in correctly as I talked, I should be good. The other thing you're going to want to uncheck stay signed in. You don't want this to say signed in on a public computer like this. At home, that'd be a different story. So when you get signed in, one of two things happens. Either you have a screen that looks exactly like mine, or if you've already gone to Gmail once, it will go there automatically for you. Okay, remember, this is your student account. This is the ones you use all the time at Kingsford. Okay, it'll follow you through your high school years. So if I want to get into my Gmail, the first thing I do is go up to this little, looks like a tic-tac-toe board of sorts, little squares, and I click Mail. And one of two things happens to your interface. It's going to look exactly like mine, or you're going to have not have this stuff on the bottom. Okay. First thing we'd like you to do is learn how to set up a signature. And a signature is something that you add at the end of your messages. You know, like you sign a letter, a real letter that you might mail to somebody. Well, when you set up a signature by clicking the words set a signature, okay, you can put your signature here so that you don't have to always sign your letters at the end. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to put my signature here. And if you want, you can decorate a little bit. If you want to use a little bit different font, you can do that. Maybe something like that, Comic Sans for me. And so you don't want to, go over the top and make it hard to read and stuff, but something that'll give you a little bit more individuality is acceptable here. And then you got an option, insert the signature before quoted text and replies. Nah, I'd probably leave that blank. Really, you don't need to change anything else in here, but now when you write a letter to someone, it's automatically going to have that at the end of your message. Okay, so the important part, you got to go to the bottom and click Save Changes, and that should take care of that for you. Okay, so when you've set a signature, that part's done. What if you didn't see this stuff at the bottom? Okay, from this gear up here, you could go to Settings, and it would take you to the exact same window where I just was. Settings, you might have to scroll a little bit down here, but there's the signature part. So it's not that hard to get back to that if you don't see it. Okay, the other thing you're going to want to do is to change your profile. Again, if you have to pause periodically during this, you may. But when you go to change profile image, okay, you're pretty good at this by now. You could select a photo from your computer, and I've got some on my desktop. Actually, I've got mine in a different spot, but you have them on your desktop. There's my avatar. I think I'll use the Doppel avatar I made. If you want to pause and make a new avatar profile picture, you can. It's up to you. I think I'm going to go with this one for this site. And then when you set it as your profile pic, you'll have it. And then a lot of kids have asked, hey, where does that picture show up? As you can see in my inbox, I've got a couple emails. If I just click this one, you see Marissa's profile pic. And then I should see Lexi's because she set up her account like I did. So it's pretty cool. Adds a little bit of, I guess, customization and individuality to it. So that is how you set up your signature and your profile pic. And that's how you sign in also. Okay, the other things we learned in the other classes about email are that when you want to compose a message to someone, create a brand new one, anybody that's in Briding Township Schools is already in our database. So you don't have to memorize their email address. If you want to send a message out to somebody outside, you would have to know their email address. So if I was going to send a message to Mr. Navarra, all right, the correct way to do this would be to click on Compose, and then I'd have to type in his name here because he's in Briding Township Schools. So if I type in M-A-R, it finds all of the marks or anybody that has a name that starts with M-A-R, Mrs. Oberthaler. And if I finish it, it kind of narrows it down and I can choose him from this list. The same will work for all your friends. So I'd like you to pick out a friend in 6th grade and type in their name and see if you can find them in the database so that you can practice sending an email to them. Okay, so if I were going to send one, let me pick a random student from 7th hour here. Let's say I send it to Jake. Okay, for a subject line, the subject line is something you type in 2 or 3 short words that indicates what really the message is all about. So for Jake, I'm going to send him a message that says, welcome. And it's just me as a teacher welcoming him to email. And then, you know, down below, you can type in what you'd want to type in the body, and you can see the signatures already filled in. Pretty cool. Okay, so I'll just type in the body. Hello, Jake. This is an email from Mr. Harry welcoming you to Gmail. And it's pretty fun to get your first message. Now, I'm not going to finish it, but I could send it. Okay, I can even add a little emoticon if I wanted to. But that's the basic idea for sending, composing basic messages. Again, like I said, if you were sending a message to mom or dad, which is fine, you have to know their email address, right? If I wanted to send one to my mother, okay, she's not a student at Briding Township Schools or a staff member. She's not associated with it all, so I'd have to know her email address, which I do. And so that's kind of how email works. You either have to know the email address and type it, and then they'll automatically be part of your outgoing recipient, and then you wouldn't have to do it again and again, or like we're doing in school. So take some practice at composing basic messages, maybe to a friend in this classroom, and then get practice at reading messages. It's very self-explanatory. When you go to your inbox, this shows you messages that you've accumulated. You've already read them. Okay, if they're dark black, then that means you haven't read them. You have a number out front that tells you. So anyhow, practice sending, receiving, and when you're finished reading a message, you can click the message and either trash it from up here, or if you want to trash multiples, you can check multiples. You can even check all if you wanted to, or you can check unread. You can do any number of things. So a lot of kids ask that. How do I get rid of all these messages? Because they had quite a few that they didn't want anymore. So other than that, you may practice sending basic messages and then reading and then managing them. And this ends the screencast.